I'm Jen, and I'm here to give you some hot tips for how to speak at City Council if there's something you really need to get done. For example, behind me is a bus stop that turns into an absolute mud bath in the rain. And after sliding around in the mud one day, I thought, well, maybe I can do something about that. And I am here today because I want to give you some hot tips on how to speak to City Council. Make up any kind of graphic multimedia presentation. You want to have a map if it's applicable. If there's a place, you need a map. You want to have something like a slideshow or a video. It doesn't have to be professionally produced. You can take a selfie video in your car, something that is attention grabbing. And for some people, it might be a lot easier to speak in front of a selfie video rather than necessarily speaking in person at council. Still go in person to present it. Try to get in on a day, like if there's not too much going on or where you think you might be the only speaker on your issue, because they're more likely to pay attention. Your limit is 5 minutes, so I made a very short video. I said what I needed to say. Here's the bus stop, here's the location, here's a map. It needs to be paved because safety hazard. I would say go with 2 or 3 suggestions if you can come up with them. Give them choices. They will also have a response. They will likely have come up with a couple ideas on their own if it's something that's fairly easy. You want to ask them to follow up with you, but then you have to persist about that. They are very agreeable. They are also very busy. So persist, follow up with them, get some answers. So sit back, relax, and check out how I approached City Council in person to attempt to solve the problem of this bus stop.
We've got Jennifer Barrett here to speak on safety hazards at the bus stop on Preston Avenue northbound at 108th Street. Hi, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Good.
I take the bus regularly. I walk, I cycle, I drive as little as possible, and this bus stop is terrible. So if we could watch the video real quick here, and then I have a couple of suggestions I want to add, that would be great.
Okay, thank you.
Good afternoon, members of the Accessibility Committee. My name is Jennifer Barrett, and I am an able-bodied resident of Saskatoon. The bus stop located on Preston Avenue northbound at 108th Street has significant safety hazards and is not accessible due to its slippery, muddy conditions. Elderly people, those with wheelchairs, walkers, crutches, visually impaired with service dogs, and more are being ignored by the city. The mud stuck on my boots in large clumps also sticks to the paws of service dogs. Toddlers will slip and fall face first into the mud and then grind that mud into the bus seats, creating a mess and a safety hazard. The mud was still clumped to my boots when I boarded the connecting bus, posing slip risks to other bus riders and making a mess. It is imperative that the city takes immediate action to install a proper sidewalk. The safety, accessibility, and inclusivity of Saskatoon's public transportation system must be priorities. This must be addressed now before someone is seriously injured. Thank you. The easiest option that I can think of would be to just throw in a sidewalk between the bus stop and that intersection. That solves the problem. Another thing I would love to see would be a survey of bus drivers or bus riders to identify other bus stops that need help, that are in bad shape, that have safety hazards, accessibility hazards, and get them fixed. That would be great. The Transit app actually has a survey feature of some sort. It's not widely used enough. I ride the bus a lot. I have seen it pop up, I think, once, maybe, and it was a long time ago. So that could be more widely used. Lastly, before I'm done, I want somebody to get in touch with me and follow up on this so that I can keep track of what is happening with this and make sure that it actually does get addressed. I haven't fallen and hurt myself yet, but like I said, I'm able-bodied.
Jennifer, thank you for being here today. You're not the first person that has identified concerns at this bus stop. You are suggesting a sidewalk from the intersection corner to the bus stop, correct?
Yep.
Okay, and your request to be followed up with is not unreasonable, so I'll be making that motion at the appropriate time. So do you know, is there a sidewalk scheduled for this location to get through the mud?
Preston Avenue from College Drive North is on the green line of BRT. And the Green Line did receive approval, and the funding announcement was made by our federal and provincial partners for that project. So as part of the BRT project, all the bus stops on the red, green, and blue lines will be fully accessible when they're constructed to the BRT station. That work is currently planned for 2025. However, we realize, that the conditions are not acceptable right now. There was some excavation done there last year as part of a power line project. The landscaping did not get completed. But what we are looking at doing right now is, until the improvements can be made through the BRT project at this location, we're right now finalizing plans, and when the weather permits, we'll place gravel on the boulevard.
And the gravel is just a temporary measure until the construction in 2025, correct?
Correct.
And just to confirm, Madam Chair, that Ms. Barrett heard the city clerk earlier, that information be received means that it does follow up directly with her as a speaker.
Yeah.
So as you can see behind me here, they have put down some utility markings, and that's because in order to pave the bus stop, they actually have to dig underneath. And then they're going to lay down pavement, and everything's going to be great. They're going to put in a proper sidewalk in 2025 as part of the bus rapid transit plan, and everyone will be safe.